Welcome back everybody. I have a really quick video now to show you a few exercises that can be used in the case of an early stages rehabilitation for, specifically in this video, a calf injury. Now, 1 week before, I just had a week off, that would be 2 weeks ago, one of my clients, Kevin, just coming down off a step up, coming down on the eccentric part of the motion where his toe touched the floor and he's decelerating with his calf muscle before his heel hits the floor, so that stretching movement, he just popped his calf. He just had probably a grade 1 tear, and we had to call the session there, and he's not been able to do much ever since. Now, as a caveat to this video, it is presuming that you understand how to stretch, why you need to stretch, and the type of stretches that you're going to need to do for the muscle that you've hurt. Now, a muscle in its smallest form, microscopic form, is a long strand of lots of lines. So it's like that, okay? And it's long. Millions of them. Any architect will tell you that any structure that has the strands going in the same direction is structurally stronger than something that doesn't. So for instance, muscle is all in a straight line as opposed to straight and then some going across and then straight and then across. So that would be stronger going in a straight line as opposed to something that's like Jenga, for instance. Not the most stable of foundations if you've ever played it. The problem with a tear is what you've done is you've torn that straight structure. So let's say you had lots of straight lines, you tore it there, now you've got this, you've got a gap. What has to fill that gap is scar tissue. And unfortunately, the scar tissue doesn't form necessarily in a straight line. It's going to be a mishmash of all different directions, like a mesh. What you have to do is you have to pull down the tensile stress of those muscles to form them in the right direction as you obviously run the muscles. So you've got your gap here, and if that's a mesh, the more I stretch it and the more I put tension through my muscle, the straighter they're going to get. So I'm not going to have that kind of weakness in my muscle that is going to elicit more problems down the line. So this video, like I said, is presuming that you understand why you need to stretch and how you need to stretch. Like I said, this guy hurt his calf, you might have hurt a hamstring, bicep, anything, okay? The stretches are going to be different. However, the necessary principle of the movements that you can be using can transfer to every single thing that I can imagine, mostly. Every major muscle group that you can injure. So, here are the videos. Here are 3 exercises, all that elicit stress through the muscle. Might cause a little bit of pain. Kevin said he felt sort of 40% pain whilst he was doing it. That's a good sort of threshold to be at. If you are getting anywhere near 80, higher percentage of pain that you can bear, then you're still in chronic stage of the injury and you need to leave it alone, and you need to do your contrast therapy, which is ice and heat. And again, I'm presuming that you understand how to do that. If you would like to see a video on contrast therapy, ice and heat, and stretching, how to repair an injury a little bit more depth in the earlier stages of an injury, then let me know and I'll make a video on that. So enjoy the video and I'll see you soon. So this first exercise is a goblet squat, and we're just using it to get as much force as we can through the muscles, getting the knees over the toes, stretching the calf muscles off, and using that weight to add a bit of a challenge, up his heart rate, and just get everything warmed up for later on. This one's called a narrow squat, and what we're trying to do is do it even more so we've taken the weight away. What we're trying to do is force his knees over his toes even more. We're holding the arms out in front of him and we're keeping his chest out, and that puts more force into the heels and obviously stretches that calf out, and that's the muscle that we're trying to aim at stretching. The last exercise is a walking tall exercise. Hips are up high. He's trying to squeeze on those calf muscles to align that scar tissue in a stronger position. Hips up, chest up, walking nice and tall on his toes.